All right. So, hi, everyone. Welcome back to SheSellsWeed podcast. I'm with your host. I'm Mindy.
I'm Jax.
Hello. And we'd love to thank our sponsors, the Pocket Dispensary and the Delta Boys Dispensary, for helping make all the magic happen.
That's right.
Let us hang out with the really cool people in the industry. We have an amazing guest here today. So we have HB from Cadre Verde Flower. So HB
Welcome.
is... Hi. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
So HB is co-founder of Cadre Verde, one of the top quality cultivation sites, licenses in the city. And HB's background comes from science, data collection, the foundational things that you need to know in order to improve, right? Like set up systems, improve, make your business thrive. So thanks for coming on. I had an interesting topic that I kind of wanted to bring up that I thought we could talk about. So I heard another article about, one of the larger companies in the cannabis industry, right, going under, is in debt.
Oh, yeah.
Like huge, millions of dollars, 500 something million.
$500 million.
Yeah, like that's
Isn't that insane?
a lot of companies. It's a celebrity brand,
Yeah.
right? And so
Who was the celebrity? What was?
It's the parent company, like Jay-Z.
Okay.
There's an article
okay.
that just came out about it.
Oh,
that was
interesting.
highlighting kind of like the downfall of the parent company. And, we've seen a lot of celebrity brands come out, and we've seen a lot of celebrity brands also very quickly leave the cannabis industry. And one thing I see in common is that there is no focus on quality.
Yeah.
And what you're giving to the people. It's about flashiness. It's about names. It's about celebrities, right? It's Hollywood. A lot of it's fake. And I love Cadre Verde because it's the opposite. It's real, right? It's raw. And so how does the quality standards and that set different companies apart and different ways of thinking about flower apart? So I know you do a lot of QC and finding what's best for the people.
That story's I haven't heard this until you told me right before we started shooting. We've actually sold to excuse me. We've actually sold to the parent company before. They're good friends, Josh, he's a hella cool dude, and he introduced us to Dee and Tiffany, and they're really good people. So I'm sad to hear that this happened to them. That was back in maybe 2021 or something like that. Yeah, don't quote me on the year, but you do see a lot of these celebrity brands come and go, and I think that's kind of how it is across the board in cannabis. It's a pretty volatile industry in an already volatile economy right now, and so it's not just brands, but it's I think grows and and other parts of the business
Can you break
industry.
that down? What does that mean when you say volatile? Is it just
like
the
things shutting, opening and shutting? Yeah, they're just being issues of oversaturation and expenses.
It's hard out there, guys. Just
very tough.
We love it. We have passion for it, but
oh my god, because we're the grow side. We're kind of on the back end. I call it the back end of the industry, and in retail, you guys are at the front, the forefront. And I don't know how you guys make it. I really, I'm not a finance person, but I just, the margins.
We got our tricks. But you have to know.
It definitely, it's a unique retail of cannabis is very different than retail of let's say mall stores, right? But in a way, we are like a mall. Actually, a mall store is very similar. Very hard, very competitive, very slim margins. You have to be kind of careful about not keeping inventory for too long, making sure you're running sales on a consistent basis. There's definitely a job of making sure that things keep moving on our end. We cannot stay stagnant,
right?
Because it winds up harming the entire industry. So for me on retail, it's like, it's actually a huge responsibility to like make sure that the industry keeps going, because if we just stay hard on, making sure we're making certain margins, and that slows the industry's sales down, like that slows everything down, and all the cogs start having a terrible time. So retail is a very different perspective than cultivation, because for you guys, a fail is a bad time. Like if you fail in the garden, and I can only kind of speak to that because I did cultivation, where it's like if you're going to fail in the garden, it's like, oh, we didn't hit these numbers, got to do better next time. In retail, it's like, oh, we didn't hit these numbers, now we're having partner meetings, and now we're discussing like, should we continue this business, should we shut it down, should we sell it? Like it goes fast into those conversations, and I don't know why that is, but cultivation seems to be more passion driven than finance driven. That's for sure. And that's just my
interesting. Yeah, from the outside
experience
perspective
from both sides. You know what I mean?
I like these chairs because they've got these like built-in like slots for your arms.
I love these chairs. I picked these chairs out.
And
Thank
like
you,
if you're
HB,
bigger, like you can use like there are like multiple slots.
So I love.
I'm sorry, we went off. I don't know where we were going. Oh,
that's okay.
So the parent company. I'm sad to hear that, but I don't know. I feel like Cadre has kind of done its own thing. With the help of amazing friends along the way. This is all about community. And
retail,
and about the network and all of that. And so, with the help of good friends along the way, we didn't focus on marketing at all. We didn't do anything with marketing in the beginning. It was just kind of through Instagram and word of mouth.
It seems like you focus
white
more
labeling
on the plant itself and having that kind of speak.
Yeah, but we didn't have any choice though. Like we didn't have the means to hire a marketing person. We didn't have anybody with that domain knowledge in house. Some places do. It's like
have you had to kind of take that on yourself? I mean, have you had?
I guess. I run the Instagram accounts, but I feel like that's all I do.
Yeah.
Like,
what about all the artwork on the bags? Where does that come from?
Oh, that's like that's our friends. That's our
friends
that's all
helping
our.
you out.
Amazing.
Yeah, because you guys are a pretty self-funded
artists.
cultivation facility, right?
Yeah, we've got investors. We got a lot of family friends.
But it's not like a big venture capitalist
no, not at all.
No,
but
So it's very independent, which is kind of rare right now in the marketplace to see very independent.
Again, just like fortunate enough to thanks to our Uncle Gus, who comes from the finance world, he was able to shout out Uncle Gus.
You need those people.
Shout out to he brought in friends who are willing to invest in us without really any kind of. They really put their trust in us, and so we're thankful for that. And so we've been pretty successful, and we've got a lot of people on our team. We're like 35 members strong.
That's amazing.
But we've got a lot of people on our team who are very passionate about the plant, and we do try to stress that the health of the plant comes from the health of the employees and the health of the team, and so it's all connected.
It is.
I truly believe that.
And so we really try to keep that in mind, and make sure everybody's heard and happy, and
that's great.
And we're not perfect, but
so I want to jump into a little bit about you. So where did you grow up here in California?
I moved here in 2004. That was a long time ago, but I was already 23 or.
Where'd you move from?
Iowa.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, wow. Potatoes.
Corn. And
okay.
Corn. Yeah. No, we get that. Idaho. Yeah, we get
so
that.
So you grew up in Idaho then?
Iowa.
Yeah. Sorry. I always get those two confused.
Iowa and Indiana.
Wow, the Midwest. Yeah, okay, cold.
Yeah, my parents, they're Korean, and they chose to go to Iowa State and Indiana University, respectively, and so I kind of hopped in, between back and forth for a minute there, and so I grew up in
Did you go to college out there?
Yeah, because my family didn't have a lot of money, but my dad, he eventually got his PhD at Iowa State University, and
What's
so
his PhD in?
Physics.
Oh,
yeah,
like me. You guys are a physics family. Interesting.
Right?
That's cool. You guys just solving problems all day at house.
Hey, I'm afraid you guys have problems. I have some. Like, hey, help me solve this.
During dessert, we bring out the whiteboard.
Is there certain like subcategories of physics that like people can like, I don't want to say like minor in, but like there's like little
specialize in?
Yeah, specialize. That's a good word. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like there are a few kind of broad categories, but so like for example, my dad and I, we both did condensed matter physics, which is sort of like on one end of the spectrum if you kind of reduce like physics on a scale, one-dimensional scale. So there's like the physics that is like closest to engineering, to like closest to applicability in the real world, and so that's condensed matter physics, and we're learning about materials at the scale of electrons, and then at the other end of the spectrum you've got like particle physics, and these are people who study subatomic particles, and I
actually have multiverse was a big thing for like a lot of like movies and like different things.
Yeah, like looking back, it kind of was a trend. There was like a phase where like the public was really into physics.
Yeah, it's true. The string theory and everything. Yeah,
it's amazing at how much it's out there. Like it's about how deep your brain can go into it too. Because if you like can think about it, then you can visualize it, then you can see it.
Yeah. That's very fascinating. Yeah, I actually have a person who comes in here who he works for UC Berkeley in the physical proton that side of it.
Okay, yeah.
And he works with like a big machine, I guess, that can create photons or create atoms.
Are you talking about synchrotrons?
Possibly, yeah. It's like a machine.
Yeah.
It's like really specialized. He helps work on it or whatever. He's very brilliant.
At Berkeley.
Yes.
I've been there.
Oh,
I've done research. I've done a research project there. So like I've been to like multiple synchrotrons.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Berkeley one, the one at Argonne National Lab in Illinois, and oh my God, I'm high. I can't believe I'm forgetting.
Okay.
Holy shit, I can't believe I'm forgetting this stuff. But
it'll come back to you.
Maybe it's just the two synchrotrons. But anyway, just like for my research, and that research, the types of research done there, or the data that you get out of those massive machines, is so diverse too. So from condensed matter people like us, that's why we were there, to particle physicists,
I don't understand
that's crazy.
A lot of it, but I am curious to what you think, like in cannabis, right? How any innovation to be able to research on the plant more. Do you think that is something that's going to come down the pipeline, or what do you kind of see for that on the side?
So when I joined, that was like my dream, really just like utilizing my skills, directly, and just delving into, the data and trying to gain insights from it, and figure out how to help the guys grow better, but also, in terms of like, how do we maximize yield, or,
like
or
understanding it more,
maximize
right?
terps,
like,
or this particular terp profile,
it helps you analyze the data better, because you have that background of physics where you're like constantly like analyzing things, right?
That's what we did.
Yeah, that's all you do is analyze things.
Yeah. So
it's like a natural place for you.
I would say, like 80 to 90% of all my physics friends, my peers, are in data science.
Oh, okay.
Machine learning, AI.
Yeah.
So that's just a very
you think data, you just think
very
information. You don't think
natural
of it as
pipeline.
like that. You know, like
What's that?
When you heard the word data, for me, it's like because I'm very like infantile in the world that you're in with it. But so when you say data, I just think like information from like social media. But you're talking about it in like a completely different way.
Well, that's huge.
Yeah.
That data set is very rich in information.
Yeah.
In our information, you
and
know,
then it's like back to people,
And-
right? Like how to
Yeah.
analyze like people, like how they
right. It
like,
can be used
their
in
habits,
really.
their buying
It could be
habits,
used
what they're
in
into.
amazing ways,
Yeah.
but really they're being used for private corporations to
Sell.
Yeah,
Sell,
things
make money.
to us. Yeah.
No, well, I mean, and I guess you're kind of using it in the same kind of way, right?
So
Just with cannabis data.
okay, so my last
Have you found a trend in cannabis that at your grow that you would want to share if you have?
say that.
Have you found like a trend? Like, have you found something in the data that you could speak on that's like something you kind of found that helped in the garden a little bit? You don't have to.
No,
If you
well,
don't
okay,
want to,
so
but-
so I was saying, like, that was kind of my dream,
Oh, okay.
like in my head, like a vision that I had when I started. But, I started out, in the garden like everybody else. There were like, I don't know, 10 of us, 10 to 12 of us back then. And, we didn't have a trimming crew or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just you guys.
So, I was, that's how I started. And then, I realized, I could utilize my skills, to like, to help on the back end of things, collect data and, get us on Google Drive and, all the stuff, get us on Google Sheets and, so sorry, what was the question?
How we're using physics to find trends of cannabis.
through
analyzing. We can move on
So-
to a different topic if there's nothing really there for you. What is your?
I can't think of an example.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all good. No worries. Man. We just smoked that big old. What strain was that?
I told myself I wasn't going to. Sorry, is that loud? I
okay.
told myself that I wasn't going to. I was going to start smoking midway because
Yeah.
I'm.
And now it's a midway
smoke
joint
right now.
Hey, let me have that. Actually, I'll get that lit again.
Sorry, yeah.
What strain is this again?
That's Sherbanger 22.
That was really nice.
And that's
Is this
JP the Kujizi in some stores, yes, as double deuce.
Oh, okay. And you were saying who?
JP the Kujizi of Good Pizza, he got us that.
Killer.
And
shout out to JP.
yeah,
'cause
and
this is a
shout
killer
out
strain.
NorCal Gardens.
Yeah,
NorCal's Gardens.
Yeah.
For helping breed it and for pheno hunting it and all that.
What's one of your favorite strains and why? From the Cadre Verde genetic lineup, I guess you would say, and what makes it stand out to you?
So I'm really batch to batch, harvest to harvest, and we harvest every 2 weeks, and so like the best strain is different every batch. Yeah,
Kind of pick your
I agree.
favorite.
but I feel like the one that kind of tops the charts often is Fugazi, and I'm really loving that right now. I would have brought that if I had.
That's what we smoked
I
last
do
time
like,
we came.
I do like that strain a lot. How do you
Yeah.
kind of evaluate when you
This
do...
last batch was better than the batch that we smoked on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Was that?
It's a really greasy terp, that one. Sorry to interrupt all that.
It is.
It's real greasy, and it comes through in the
Is-
smoke, so I think that's what makes it desirable. I think whatever that oil is that makes things greasy, it makes that weed always smokes best.
It's like the oil
Oh,
ring
really?
around. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always noticed anything that has that greasiness, like the smoke will be like thick, like when it's burning in the paper, it'll create like an oil ring. It's always just, I don't know what
I'm
oil that is.
I'm shaking still
From
being nervous.
it's okay.
Can
We're
you
just
tell?
hanging out, man. We're only 19 minutes into it. It's all good. You don't. I know the camera's scary. It's very intimidating. Okay, I wouldn't disagree. We've actually done. We probably did 2 or 3 like just practice runs, just getting used to just talking in a microphone, and having lights
would
on
do
you.
that.
Yeah, and nobody will ever see those because they're terrible. But it got us really comfortable. So just Yeah, we're just having a conversation. There just happens to be microphones here, so.
Right.
And,
yeah, no, it was funny. I was talking to somebody yesterday, my friend, and like people don't realize how hard it is just to have to smoke a whole bunch of weed every day.
It is, yeah.
You're like, say you're
Oh my
you're in the
God,
retail,
yes.
like you have to try things.
it's a burden. I won't lie. I mean,
no, I'm not trying to be pretentious or anything like
I'm
that.
so
But it's just
shameful.
hella funny, like the irony of it. Like I have to smoke. What did you have to do? I have to smoke so much weed and then also get on my laptop and answer emails and like do all that just stuff. Go to the DCC to like go see people.
yeah, high as fuck. No, it's real though. Like the
Are you high? Oh, it's called multitasking.
Yeah. No, as a buyer, like, oh my God, like that's something that like I don't talk to people about because they like are like, oh, poor you know. But I'm like, and you probably experienced this too, right? It's like you have so much weed and it's just everywhere, and you're like constantly just trying to keep up with what's new coming in, and you're very picky at that point because you're like, I have to smoke all this weed, and if it's freaking harsh or it's not doing what I want it to do, I'm putting it out. I'm not smoking it because I have 8 other jars or 4 other strains I have to get through, and you know, you got to evaluate everybody because I hate to say it, but buying on smell and bag appeal alone, like it just doesn't cut it. Like you have to smoke it because there's the devil's in the details of the smoke, I'll tell you.
Well, can you also, since, you know, there's the lounge, like, are you able to then, like, try it with them?
If I clock
right
out.
there? Got it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because marijuana employees are not supposed to be on high on the clock, so we don't smoke on the clock. But if you catch me when I'm getting off and you want to come smoke, I can smoke it up in the lounge.
That's such an effective way, right?
Yeah.
To be able to evaluate something. It's like actually try it. That's what we used to do.
Oh.
Just hang out with people and smoke together. And
I had a naughty retail manager that I worked under before I became the manager at Delta Boys, and I say he was a naughty manager because he would just do naughty things, like he would smoke and he would light up right in front of the rep. I mean, he'd hand him a joint and like he would just spark it up. He's like, yeah, man, this shit ain't smoking. It's like it's gross or whatever, and like the rep's just like, you know, like they're not used to this. They're used to somebody like taking it and, you know, denying them in an email or something. They're not used to like this guy just smoking right in front of them. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is not good. But also like that's how we used to do it back in the day. I mean, somebody bring you a sample, you're gonna roll it up right there in front of them and be like, let's see what's up with this. Like, is it really smoking the way you think it's smoking, or is it you're just bragging about something that ain't true?
Or like you come in with your like nice rolled joint, you're like, okay, well, this is how it's gonna smoke the best and taste the best, and I want to give you this experience. Like there.
I want to give a shout out to this dude, John Henry. He's with High Canna. He, as a rep, really killed it for me because he brought in all of his stuff. He like laid it all out. Let's check it out. You know, it was like a sample pack, and then he also like pulled out a hand roll of the flour that he had just given you in an eighth, and was like, I also just already rolled this for you because I know you as a buyer like have to go through so much. And I was like, that's a really nice touch as a salesperson, you know, like that's really going the extra mile there to like make sure that they're going to smoke your shit, because sometimes, you know, it gets put in the bottom of the bag and I forget. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to smoke this guy's weed.
Yeah. And although it's like, you know, we love rolling and stuff, but at the same time it's nice to have
a pre-rolled something. But yeah, so what do you think has been the hardest part of growing your brand?
Oh.
Has it been the sales? Getting it right in the garden?
For me personally, it's just I'm not a multitasker, and so
I don't think people are meant to be multitaskers. You know,
there are people who are better at it than others.
But it sucks. Like, I've done like 4 things at one time. Like, it is not okay.
I'm a one-track mind kind of person. So so you know, I'm good at, you know, hyper focusing on things, but you know, it's so that's been like the personal challenge for me is
there's
just
a lot
like
of hopping around.
because I'm doing this back end stuff, you know, and I just kind of dabble in like I kind of fill in the blanks. I just dabble in everything. You know, I help Casey and Cody with scheduling. I help Eric with payroll and some of the finance stuff, and you know, and then I do kind of my I've written like scripts. So this is where I really utilize like my skill set directly from data science is, writing scripts to, consolidate our data and, help with payroll or help with,
like
do you enjoy it?
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I love. I wish I could do more of that, but
well, that sounds really important. I mean,
it's fun. I mean, it's just you're making things more efficient. You're.
What are scripts? I don't know what those are.
Oh, so like little programs. Yeah.
Computer programs?
Code.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just...
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, scripts. I guess that's pretty
We're like,
vague.
No, we're learning now. Hold on.
Wait, what? Are you just writing computer code for fun? You're like, like no problem. Like, okay, cool.
You're like speaking to you. They're like, you're like, okay, let me get this down really quick. Hold on.
You guys want a new fertilizing code? No problem. Like, dang, she's got everything automated.
No, honestly, I could be helping more, but but it's that whole time management thing, where I feel like I've got my hands in everything.
It's seriously the life of the startup. And you're in startup mode for so fucking long.
It's like, startup.
I've been in startup mode for when my company for 5 years. We're still in startup mode, like step 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
But at least it's still,
pushing.
And so like, that's what you just got to do, like keep that vision of what you want to do, and then eventually you'll have a lot of different help.
Yeah.
We already have a huge team.
Oh my God, we have we have a huge team. We have an amazing team.
That's amazing.
You have full-time trimmers?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
I would say advocate for yourself to do the things that you really want to do, and hire different people to do those things. Other things if you can, because like you can, like this is like one thing that like changed a lot of my viewpoints is like just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because like your specialization is
possibilities are endless.
Different. Like not everybody has the knowledge that you have in terms of being able to collect that data.
Yeah.
And like innovation is like something that we don't really see a lot. And I'm excited. Like I want to see some more innovation. Like I want to see something different. I want to see something happen. And
you ever thought about bringing in like robotics to the cultivation side of things?
No, I mean, I know that future is ahead of us, and I'm like,
I've always thought about an automated like
delisher?
Machine, everything. Yeah, in my mind, I've seen it in my mind, like because when you're de-leafing, it would have to be a laser though, that accurate shooting laser, like that could see the leaf and identify that it was the right leaf and be able to. Zip.
Yeah.
And then you have a blower come in and all the leaves away. So I really thought deep about this, dude. Little robots that could pick up pots, that could set it on conveyor belts, that could run it into the other room, that run conveyor belts, and it would just be a long conveyor belt that at the end of it would be like the finished product. Yeah. That would just then go through the conveyor belt, get chopped, get a thing, hang it up. I'm like really thought deep about it.
Like save people's backs. I don't want to lift this heavy object.
It's just like a certain amount of plants per day. Well, I will say like cannabis is a highly labor intensive cultivation thing. It's not, there's not much automation. There's not much machinery for it. There's a lot of people picking up pots and walking pots from point A to point B for a long period of time.
That with a lot of things, like everything that we do is like hand done by people.
Well, it's like farming. We got just like how
a lot of farming hands on, but a lot of it's machines. Though.
A lot of it is machines. Yeah. A lot of it is machines.
Speaking of hands on, how did you get into joint rolling? Like the way you do, because you were a judge for me, because you roll some beautiful J's. I mean, we've been smoking on this fantastic one, and but how did you decide like you wanted to really get into that and be like known for it?
it just happened. I wasn't planning on it. Honestly, when I was getting into rolling, I was just thinking, I just want to be able to roll a smokable joint. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to look pretty. I was setting my goals like really, really low. Because I was convinced that I even if I learned how to roll a joint, it wouldn't be that great.
Yeah.
And of course, my joints would never look like those of like CGOs. Back in the day, there weren't a lot of like professional rollers, but like CGO, Bruno, those guys were around. And I was like, mine will never look like that. But I'll just do my best. So that's how I started. And then they started looking better and better, and so it just kind of grew like that. Yeah. Organically.
Does it make you happy to like see like a hella nicely rolled
Cadre
dude. It makes me happy. I
remember when I first met you. You'd come for the rolling competition with CGO as the judge, and Bruno. Remember that very first one we had here? We had at the Delta Boys Lounge, and and you were all nervous. I remember you were like super nervous.
Really?
Yeah. You told me you were nervous. You were like, I'm really nervous. And I was like, it's all good. And we had a bunch of that was packed. Oh my god, the lounge was packed that day. But you did really well. I don't think you placed, but I think you did really well.
I had no hash in my hash.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I literally got 0 hash in my hash hole. It was just a hole. Like there was no there. I mean, but there was no hole.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really hot day, and the rosin. I did not think it forward that the rosin really people needed to have hot knives for that. So
I had no idea, honestly. Yeah. I think I had rolled a hash hole like once or twice before that.
Oh, you weren't even like quite familiar with what that meant.
I was so surprised how sticky it was. There are different types of
rosin's hard to handle when you're doing like that.
Yeah.
Well, it was my bad. Honestly.
I mean, I was a hot mess. I had
Did you remember
shit
the
all
guy
over
that brought the little like miller, the little grinder thing?
Yeah.
He's actually a roller now. Like he does like rolls for people. Like he out of that rolling competition. He realized
the guy who brought that.
He's
sitting.
He's like right, now. I think he's like hash rolls on Instagram. I think is his name now. But he's like a roller now. Like he does really nice rolls and stuff. It's pretty cool. So. But I love your joints. Like that joint smoked hella nice. I mean, we've put it out and relit it, and it's been burning just fine ever since. Especially with that flower. It's really tasty flower.
Thanks. But shout out to Cad for getting us our first glass tip. And that was sort of the start, because before I didn't know how to roll, and I'd always rely on my friends to roll, and I'm so grateful for them, but I also felt bad that I couldn't return the favor. So I was like, man, I really need to learn how to, roll a joint, and so that's how I started.
Nice.
Yeah, he got me a roar glass. Do you guys know the old school, really old school tips?
The Bong Company.
Roar. Like before tips were a thing. Glass tips were a thing. Really. Yeah. He got me one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I know some of those glass tips are like crazy now. Like $110 a glass tip. I'm like, no. Like that. I mean, that's for some people.
I lose shit way too much for that, but if you can
keep up with it, good on you. Yes. No, I bought a $20 one glass tip one time, and I keep track. Actually, I don't even know where that one is now that I think about it. But the glass tips, but they're nice. But you know what? I really love these organic tips. Yeah, these are dope. Honestly, like for the price that they are and everything, like they're great. I sell them here. I sell them at the store.
Homie. That's Dustin.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's sponsored a lot of our rolling competitions and things like that. So
he's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and they make all sorts of different versions. And then the ones that are flavored, have you ever tried those?
What's that?
He's got like the flavored tips. The ones that are like...
I have not. I've seen them on the website, but I haven't. I've never bought them.
Yeah, they're nice because it's mild. Because you're like, oh, there's like something there. Like, like it's a little surprise,
Did the tip, like having the tip help you figure out how to roll better?
It helped me to, because I started with glass tips and, continued my practice with glass tips, like I was 99% of the time. It just got me good with glass tips, and not as good with wood tips or paper crutches.
Having that structure there has always like helped.
The rigidity.
I wouldn't be able to roll.
That's what I rely on. That's what I realized. And then the wood tip is also a little different. I love how perfectly straight they are. I really love that. But that also means that it just slips out, and just with the grain of the one directional, grain, I just realized it is different from glass. That subtle difference is like significant for me for some reason.
Grip.
So like I feel like my wood, when I roll with the wood tips, with the Organa tips, like it's a looser more often. Yeah.
Do you have any other like tool or like something that you have that you felt helped you
other than my chopstick? Like, so when I started, I had like some, I don't remember now, even like some kind of gadget, to help with the and I was like, I want to be able to just like, if I were on the beach and there was nothing there, I just want to be able to just bust out my tray and just roll up and try to be as
like blanket.
and I want it to be as low maintenance as possible, but I mean, I'm not, because I carry around a bottle of alcohol and like 50% of my backpack is my fucking rolling kit pouch.
Well, you clean everything, right? It makes it all taste better and like different. So
it's a necessity.
What's the alcohol for?
Yeah.
Well, it's to wipe, because like if I have sticky fingers, that was the other thing. Like I want, when I say I want it to be a low maintenance roller, I want it to be able to just just roll really well with even sticky fingers. But
So you said you love your chopstick?
I love my chopstick. Yeah.
What do you use it for?
For multiple things.
It's the ultimate poker.
The ultimate.
Like when I once I've got the weed on the paper, the ground weed on the paper, and I'm like kind of molding it to make it cylindrical, and then I get there's a million different ways to roll well, and so mine is just one way, but so I do that, and I feel like I spend more time like molding that thing into a cylinder more than other people. I've just noticed before I insert the tip.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. Oh boy. Damn it, wow, you might just live in the gutter. I mean, we've not even brought out one naughty thing in. I mean, she said insert the tip and has lost it.
Oh, great.
Hyper focus.
It's all
great. Good. Yeah. I'm still like I'm like a 12-year-old boy, like
in your mind.
In my mind, yeah.
It's okay.
And then so I put in the tip, and then so I use my chopstick to like kind of pat down the grind as I.
You're like telling it what to do. You're like, okay, you stay here.
Whack, 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 whack.
Full control. You got full control.
She's
there.
They're there now. So that's one way I use it, and then to pack it, and I use both ends. Yeah.
So I got a question off random.
Yeah.
So you said Korean. So you're Korean.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of the Korean fertilizing system that you can do? It's like for like super organic growing methods. They use I'll send it to you.
For weed growing?
You can use it for weed or anything.
For anything.
Anything. And it's a Korean fermentation thing that comes from Korea.
Whoa.
I'll have to send it to you. It's really, really interesting.
Do they use kimchi in their soil or something?
Kind of, yeah. But they know by like mixing certain plants into a fermentation will create a certain type of extraction that then they can use to apply to their plants. So if they're needing nitrogen or potassium or phosphates like they'll put rice out under certain trees to collect certain myceliums out of the ground, and then they'll like inoculate soil with that and like grow that, and it's really fascinating. So I'll have to send it to you. It's pretty cool.
Cool. Yeah, I'll share it with Casey and Old Man and Jonas and the guys.
They probably know about it. I would assume, but I just wondered if you'd ever heard of it.
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I don't really geek out in that direction
at all. Nothing.
Not
with the
really.
Plants, no.
I never have. Yeah.
Science is interesting though. Just
have you taken a lot of the sales side? Yeah, sorry.
No. No, Casey is more sales. I'll sometimes bring in people that I meet. But no, it's Casey does all of it. Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. And Cad, he'll bring, his friends over sometimes,
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So we've established some good relationships that way.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's very organically grown.
Yeah, I feel that way. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What were you gonna say, Mindy?
Oh, I was just saying the science of everything, like how mixing different chemicals, like say like when you decarboxylate, THC, it turns into completely different chemical. When you digest it, it turns into a completely different chemical. Yeah. So like how like when you mix different things, like the alchemy.
Cannabis. Yeah, the alchemy of cannabis is very fascinating because there's so many different realms of that. Like there's the extraction side and the growing side and the just all the terpenes. It's crazy. It's so crazy. You guys ever like mix weeds together? You ever take like one flower and another flower and like grind it up and like roll a joint like that?
I've done it with CBD to make 1-to-1s.
Oh, okay.
Take like 20-to-1, and then it makes it taste really good because I don't like the taste of like CBD flower either. And so if you take the really nice kind of like some THC, mix it with a 20-to-1, and then you have a good 1-to-1.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had CBD flower.
Really?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
We'll have to get you some. Mm-hmm. It's interesting to smoke it because I guess it still converts slightly into THC with the heat that happens with the smoke. So there is like a mild high, but you don't get.
Dr. Riley was talking about that.
Yeah, that was just
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, there's some really cool. I really like the farm cut. Joseph from Emerald Spirit, he has some really good high CBD strains, different cannabinoids, just to kind of experience different ones.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what CBD does to me.
Yeah, that's the whole
I don't
thing
really feel
it. Yeah, the whole thing about everything though is that you have no idea until you do it. Like you gotta like.
Have you ever tried CBD gummies or tinctures?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I've tried, and tinctures and like.
Oh, of course, with Cad, right?
I know what it does.
Really gives you tons of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't.
Have you taken it at like a high dose, or you take it at a low dose?
I feel like
like 100 milligrams of CBD.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because if I take like a low dose of CBD, I don't really feel much from it. But if I take like 100, I feel like super chilled out. Like super chilled out. Like almost like I need to go lay down.
Man, I think that's what I need right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little nervous.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Because there's like certain strains that they're focusing on for THCV that are really cool. Yeah. So they've really done a lot of breeding and testing and different light spectrums. They've realized like makes plants produce higher levels of like the minute cannabinoids, like. Super silver haze, I guess if you grow it under more of a blue light spectrum, it'll create more CBG. So I was reading an article about, and so like that they'll sometimes grow a crop that way to like get higher numbers of CBG, and CBG's good for all sorts of things all the time. But
I'm like super interested for THCV. And,
I love it.
Blood regulation for like people with diabetes and stuff, like sugar regulation. I don't know what the exact
'cause it helps
terminology
with the
is,
lack
but I
of-
thought that's so interesting because so many people suffer from things like that.
Yeah.
And like your health is really important. So when there's something that goes on health-wise and there's a natural way to regulate it, like that's huge.
I agree.
you believe
Yeah,
that?
because they're putting it in all sorts of products right now. And right now it's just advertised as like a an uplifting effect. But you're right. Like there's all sorts of these like other really cool medical applications that in the future we'll have, like we were talking about with our previous guest.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah.
CBG and mental. I remember one, like years and years ago, CBD dabs were a thing.
Yeah, they were.
It's like,
They were.
they
Gilded
put, like, a
extract
CBD
had 'em,
dab
yeah,
and
yeah.
then, like a THC dab right after
Yeah.
because it kind of clears your
Yeah.
system. If your tolerance is going, just like if you consume a whole bunch of CBD, it'll clear it out, and then you'll
Yeah, because it overloads your.
That's right,
The
yeah.
theory is that it overloads your endocannabinoid system, so your body can only like absorb, from what I understand, like around 1,000 milligrams of any cannabinoid of cannabis. And so, if you take a bunch of CBD, your body's like flooded with it, so that it's a delayed for the THC to come in, and sometimes it gets delayed enough to where you don't absorb as much of it as you originally would have. So people who go to a lot of like smoky fest, like they used to like load up on CBD so that they wouldn't get as high off the THC. Because back in the day, we used to get real high at these weed events. Like people were just offering dabs left and right. Like you were like, yeah, I'll take a dab, and it was like a glob every time. Oh my god, I used to get too
But
high.
I do think like it's so peculiar how, or like a really good thing how it's almost like an antidote, right? So if you're worried about, oh well, people get too high, right, to drive or like whatever, you take some CBD and then you're fine.
Yep.
You know, and like there is like you can't do that with alcohol. You can't do that with anything else.
No, I've seen somebody literally actually back for the CBD dabs. They took it. I saw this man. He took a THC dab. He went white faced. The guy grabbed a CBD extract, made him take the dab. He was like, no. He's like, no, seriously. The dude took the thing and he just like leveled out, and he was just like fine. But like the CBD totally like counteracted the THC. It was a pretty crazy little experiment I saw. But yeah, the CBD, if you ever get too high from THC, it'll balance it out. So, like, people who are new to cannabis, especially with edibles, I always get them on a 1-to-1. Because then it's like, I know that they'll have a nice, relaxing feeling, and they probably won't have the negative effects. And then later down the road, when they get more comfortable, they can experience
You don't want
that.
people to be scared.
No.
Like, don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Do you do it all at edibles?
Not often.
Oh, okay.
If I'm at an event and it's offered to me, I will usually say yes.
You just mostly on the smoking.
I'm more of a, if it's in my face, I'll be like, sure, yeah. So I don't buy gummies really, but I do buy those Uncle Arnie's drinks.
Oh.
And I have a few in the fridge
Yeah, shout out
most
to
of the
Gabby
time.
and Lexi from
Yeah,
Barney's,
yes. Hi, Gabby. Hi, Lexi.
Drinks are good.
Yeah. And I love to. Those are special occasions. Those are for special occasions, like before a flight or. Yeah. So I don't do it on the regular.
You went on some trips just recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been to like what? 2 or 3 different countries in the last couple months, I would have to say almost. You've been to England. Where else did you go?
We were in England. We were in the Netherlands, and we were and I went to Korea to see my family.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
It's a lot of flying.
Yeah, it's way more travel than when I say we, I mean Casey, my husband Casey and me. Yeah, than we were used to.
I bet.
Yeah, we actually would hardly ever travel. So this was just kind of a different year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How long where did you fly to Korea from? Here or London?
SFO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How long is that?
It's like 11, 12 hours heading to Korea and like an hour shorter coming back.
You hit the tailwinds or whatever.
Yeah, you hit the
That's so weird. Isn't that weird about the world?
The plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The winds of the earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really though, yeah, they'll be like, "We've caught a tailwind. We'll be arriving earlier," and you're like, "What?" Like, there's like wind that's like pushing. Yeah, actually, if you get on your phone on your weather app and you like zoom out a lot, it'll show you the directions of all the wind around the Earth. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
get
it's like
high on
the
the
oceans, you know?
Yep.
You know those sea turtles, like in the movies?
They get swept away.
Yeah. They like hop the current, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, hop the current.
Yeah.
So I feel like for time, I'm like timeline jumping sometimes. I'm like, oh, this feels like a different dimension over here.
I always feel like that when I travel on an airplane because it's like I really feels like you're in a weird like sedative like mindset because you know you're gonna be like trapped in this little box for a long time. You can't do anything. You usually take something to help you with that, and it's like you just wake up in a completely different time zone in a completely different environment, and you're just like, what the fuck? Especially when you travel to Europe or like to Asia like that way, like it's a big
flights.
Yeah, my dad lives in England, so like I've had to take that flight a lot, and waking up in England is very strange. You're like, where the fuck like I've just time traveled, like I'm 8 hours ahead of everybody at my house right now. It's so bizarre.
London was so cool because everybody's speaking the same language. Everything's in English, you know.
Well, yeah, it's where English comes from.
and then now with technology, you don't even need you don't need currency, you know. You don't need to exchange. It felt so seamless for me to come from the US, go there, and then just be able to go to a store and buy shit, you know, like without, you know, with ease. And
it really humbles you to go to a different country. And everybody is speaking a different language. Like, you look at the map and it's a different language. You're like, okay,
that's how it was in the Netherlands. That's how it was in the Netherlands. And we were like, holy shit. Like, it's like, damn.
Yeah. Speaking of technology, that's what I really kind of like about the smart glass idea is that you could put like the translator mode on so you can like see the things. I don't know.
Oh, dude, I was using the Google Translate. Sure. Yeah. In the Netherlands for sure. Yeah, we went to 3 different cities thanks to our friends. I call them the Dutch Bros. they're these 2 brothers, Calicated and Tangi Express, and they're growers, they're fellow growers, and they're these amazing guys, and they were with us for 13 hours, and I found out later they like rented a car and like they just like drove us around, took us to the local eateries. They took us to Utrecht, which is their hometown.
Oh, okay.
And then of course Amsterdam, and then we also went to The Hague because there was a coffee house, coffee shop, a dispensary, there that that was a friends of theirs. So so we got to meet the coolest people through them and check out local shit. That's the best.
I love that you can just make friends with people from around the world.
Yeah,
because of cannabis.
Dude. So I went to Amsterdam with my aunt once, and she does not smoke, and we were like just there to stop over, and I went into one of the places to go and buy, and there was this guy there, and he was like trying to like sell like dabs on the side, like concentrates. So they don't sell at that time, I don't know if they do now, they didn't sell any concentrates at the dispensary, the coffee place. And then he knew about California brands because of Instagram. So like I was like, I'm from California. He was like naming off. It was like back in like 2010 or something like that. But he was like naming off like brands and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is wild. That like there's that connection between these places.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's very cool.
For sure. Yeah. It was cool to check out 3 different cities, and Casey and I, we stayed in like a little suburb just south of Amsterdam. And we got to check out a complete different, scenery there. So it was cool. It was really cool. Yeah. I had the hardest fucking time staying off the bike lane. I don't know what my brain could not. Casey had to
Everybody bike rides over there.
Yeah.
Everybody's on the
like Davis.
Yeah. It's like Davis. Yeah.
Just like Davis. Yeah. I know people that like.
Have you been to Davis?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a bike town there. Yeah.
Everybody rides.
It's a bike.
Everybody got a bike.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But what was I saying? Oh yeah, and yeah. And what I realized was, well, my brain is just kind of slow in that direction, clearly. But like, what I also realized was the cues I'm looking for are like bright lines, like a bright white line or a yellow line or something to indicate like this is a bike lane. No, but it's just more like part of the
road.
Yeah.
Like stay off of the side.
Everybody knows that red brick is the bike lane. Yeah. And so
that's funny.
Yeah. So it's really cool to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've come to the part of the show where I'm going to ask you, what's your word to the world? What does the world need to know from HB that's like your philosophy or your statement of yourself? Like what's a core statement you got for yourself?
Oh man.
Everybody said it's very different things, so it's whatever you feel.
Shit. Try to be consistent within your value system.
Okay.
And always check your value system. It should be evolving because the world is always evolving. And so we should all be evolving with it. And, if we claim to care about community, and just make sure that, your actions, are consistent with your value system. 'Cause we're all like walking hypocrites. And, I think, if you're trying to work on yourself, trying to better yourself, part of that is like, kind of, checking to see if you're doing what you believe is right. And and does your value system work across all the areas? And
I hear you.
That's
Keep your value
powerful,
going up.
yeah.
Keep the value going up. Wise words from Miss HB.
Yeah,
well, thank you so much for being on the show with us. We really appreciate having you.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much. This is really cool. I'm excited for you guys, and it's an honor that you had me over. And I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us. So, and thank you to everybody who's been watching and listening at home or on your drive to work or whatever you're doing. We really appreciate it. And you've made it all the way to the end of the video. So we really appreciate that, honestly. And make sure to give us a subscribe, a like, a comment. A review can really help us, even if it's just clicking that 5 stars. All that really helps bump up the channel and get our podcast out there to everybody. So thank you. And thank you, HB. And we'll be back in a couple weeks with a new one for everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.